with the US, saying it won't name a new diplomat to the United Nations after Washington blocked its choice of Envoy. The spat puts a dampener on efforts to renew bilateral relations and tackle Tehran's nuclear drive. And France's Algerian expats start voting in their presidential election. With just days to go before Thursday's poll, candidates continue to campaign, and 77-year-old incumbent Abdelaziz Bouteflika is expected to win a fourth term. Hello, I'm Nadia Sharbi. Thank you for watching France 24. It's a spat that flies in the face of recent efforts to build new ties between the US and Iran, as it seems the long-awaited diplomatic thaw was insufficient to avoid a confrontation. On Friday, the Obama administration announced it would not grant a visa to Hamid Abu Talebi, the diplomat chosen by Iran as its new ambassador to the United Nations. The man was a member of the group responsible for the 1979 takeover of the US embassy in Tehran. Now, in response to Washington's decision, Iranian authorities are now refusing to offer up an alternative choice. Well, for more on this, we're joined by analyst Milad Jokar. Hello, thank you for being with us on France 24. This was always a controversial choice. What can we read into the fact that Tehran pushed this rather than withdraw Abu Talebi as a candidate?
Well, this is the choice of Iran, but normally the United Nations is obliged to grant visa or to accept the choice of each sovereign nation to the United Nations. But yeah, there are some precedents between the United States and Iran dating back to the revolution. And of course, here, if Mr. Abu Talebi had a role during the takeover of the embassy of the United States in Iran, then it changes the deal. But what we have to understand is the historic context. First of all, to remind that back at the hostage crisis, the Shah of Iran fled the country after the revolution. Then he went to Mexico, and then to receive treatment, he had to go to the United States. And this was seen in Iran as a provocation. And this led to some more ideologicalized groups in Iran to the takeover of the embassy. And then, of course, this was a huge moment between the two countries, and it was hard for the relations. Now we have to see what was the role of Mr. Abu Talebi, if indeed he had a role or not during the takeover, or if he was simply a translator, as Iran says.
Well, going back to the present, what are the consequences if Iran has no representative at the UN?
Well, to understand Iran's position, we have two words to keep in mind: independence and sovereignty. Iran will want to have his choice because as a sovereign nation, if they have a nominee, and to quote Mr. Zarif, Iran's foreign minister, that we should not let a group of radicals in the US to change our position and our choice. Then legally, it would be much better for Iran to have a representative to the United Nations to represent its interests, to give its position, its point of view regarding different issues. So, of course, any nation need an ambassador to the United Nations.
And how much of an impact might this have on relations and on efforts to resolve Iran's nuclear issues?
Well, these are separate issues. Diplomatically, the diplomatic track goes on. This is constructive and positive. And the diplomats at the negotiating table, they will not let enter the ghosts of the past enter the negotiating table. They will not go into the room. Both sides, the White House and the Rouhani administrations in Iran, are committed to the success of diplomacy. They have invested a lot of political capital for the success of diplomacy. Now, this is more a political issue, and we have to see what's going on in Washington, D.C. for the decision of congressmen who decide to block this application. Is it a way to maybe to sabotage a deal? Because we have known from the very beginning that diplomacy would be very hard, and that there will be a lot of efforts in both sides, in Iran and the United States, to try to sabotage the deal, especially for the conservatives on both sides. So politically, this is an issue. Diplomatically, the diplomatic track is still going on, and I do not believe that this will have an impact on the negotiations regarding the nuclear issue.
Milad Jokar, thank you very much for your analysis. Thank you for having talked to us. Moving to other world news.